Okay, good morning children. Yesterday class we completed bryophytes classification. Same for the chapter continuation. All we completed. Then bryophytes. Now pteridophytes. Okay, pteridophytes. Today class we have to discuss about the characteristic features of pteridophytes. Especially you can see these pteridophytes are called. These are the first terrestrial land plants which having vascular tissue. These are called vascular cryptogams. These are called vascular. These are called vascular. Okay. Cryptogams. Vascular cryptogams. These are the first terrestrial. These are the first land plants which contain vascular system, which contain vascular bundles. So vascular bundles we can see first time in pteridophytes only. These are the first terrestrial plants which having vascular bundles. Vascular cryptogams means non-flowering plants only. All pteridophytes are non-flowering plants only, but they are having vascular tissue, xylem phloem. So what about the habitats? Especially all these pteridophytes, these are cultivated as a medicinal plants. In these all are medicinal plants only, maximum medicinal plants only. Especially these plants, they can bind the soil particles. Then the soil is not able to destroy. Okay, so these plant roots, especially the pteridophyte plant roots, they can bind the soil. They can bind the soil. These are used as soil binders. Soil binders. These are used as soil binders. These roots, especially, they can hold the soil particles. Then the soil may not destroy. Okay, soil binders. And almost all these pteridophytes frequently we have to grow as ornamental plants, gardening plants, showcase purpose we have to grow. All are maximum ornamental plants, means decorative purpose we have to keep in the pots, we have to keep in front of our house, especially for ornamental purpose, decorating purpose. All are maximum ornamental plants. All are ornamental plants only maximum. Okay, these are the terrestrial land plants. First contain vascular tissue, and these plants especially contain true roots. We can see clearly there is no thallus. True roots there. True roots are there. True stem is there, and true leaves also there. Okay, true root, true stem, true leaves we can see in these pteridophytes. True roots, true stem, true leaves we can see clearly in these pteridophytes. Okay, and one more thing here you can see, if you see the root system, the roots are adventitious roots. Roots are adventitious roots only. Roots are adventitious roots. All the roots are adventitious roots only. Okay, all the roots are adventitious roots only. If you see internal structure of the stem contain. If you see the internal structure of the stem mainly contain epidermis, cortex, and stele. Stele means vascular bundle. Stele. If you see the internal structure of the stem may be the stem having internal structure of the stem having epidermis, cortex, and stele. Here the stele arrangement of the stele is mainly here 4 types. First one is protostele. Arrangement of the stele is mainly 4 types done. Stele means vascular bundle. How the vascular bundles are arranged? Means how the xylem and phloem are arranged. Okay, here steel may be protosteel. Protosteel means central xylem which is surrounded with phloem. Protosteel means in the central xylem is there, the xylem is surrounded with phloem. Protosteel. Protosteel. Siphonosteel means medullated protosteel. Medullated. Medulla. The central pithy part is there, that is called medulla. So in the siphonosteel means medullated protosteel. Next, the steel may be protosteel or siphonosteel or solanosteel or dictyosteel. Protosteel means central xylem is there which is surrounded with phloem. Okay, siphonosteel means medullated xylem phloem are there, but in the middle medulla is there. Okay, which is the pithy part, woody part. Next, solanosteel means which is appearing like a siphonosteel, but here scattered leaf gaps are there. In the between scattered leaf gaps are there. Scattered leaf gaps are there. Leaf gaps are there. Same, that should be the solanosteel is like a siphonosteel, but here scattered leaf gaps are there. Okay. Next, dictyosteel. The dictyosteel should be like a siphonosteel, but here you can see overlapping gaps are there. Overlapping leaf gaps there. Leaf gaps are there. So whatever may be steel, type of the steel, here 4 types. One is protosteel, second one siphonosteel, third one solanosteel, fourth one dictyosteel. Here you can see the leaves are small. Some leaves are, in some cases the leaves are small, in some cases the leaves are large. The small leaves are called microphylls. Small leaves are called microphylls. Large leaves are called macrophylls. Leaves are small or large. Small leaves, microphylls. Best example, Selaginella. Okay. Selaginella, which having small roots. Selaginella, which having small leaves that are called microphylls. And ferns contain large leaves that are called macrophylls. Small leaves are called microphylls. Large leaves are called macrophylls. Macrophylls example Selaginella. Macrophylls example fern. Okay. Macrophylls. Okay, then. And here you can see sporangia. Especially here you can see sporangia. Sporangia, which is formed on the surface of leaf. Sporangia, which is formed on the surface of leaf, that are called sporophyll. Sporangia, which is formed on the surface of leaf, that is called sporophyll. Here, sporangia that can develop in 2 methods. Sporangia that can develop into 2 methods. One is leptosporangiate method. Leptosporangiate method. Another one is eusporangiate method. Sporangia develop by 2 methods. One is leptosporangiate, another one is eusporangiate. Okay. But leptosporangiate means the sporangia develop only single superficial cells. Leptosporangiate means the sporangia which develop from only a single superficial cell. means only single surface cell. The sporangia which is developed from only single superficial cell, that is called leptosporangiate method. Eusporangiate method means the sporangia developed from a group of surface cells or a group of superficial cells. That is called eusporangiate method. Leptosporangiate, eusporangiate. Leptosporangiate means sporangia developed from only a single surface cells. Here group of surface cells. Leptosporangiate. So here the sporangia contains spores. Already you know that. The sporangia contains spores, but inside one spore mother cell is there. The spore mother cell. Inside the spore mother cell is there. The spore mother cell inside the sporangia, one spore mother cell is there. The spore mother cell undergo meiosis division. The spore mother cell undergo meiosis division and produce spores. These spores develops. These spores forms into a gametophyte. These spores are developed into gametophyte. The spores are developed into gametophyte. Spores are developed into gametophyte. Spores are developed into gametophyte. The gametophyte is called here prothalli. The gametophyte here we call prothalli. Prothalli. Okay. Spores develops into gametophyte. The gametophyte is called prothalli. For germination, for development of the gametophyte, need cool, damp conditions, water for their fertilization. So because of these conditions, these are very narrow distributed in areas. For development of the gametophyte, there should be cool conditions, there should be moist conditions, water is also necessary for that. Because of these restrictions, these are distributed only narrow, only some areas only they are distributed. Okay. And one more thing here you can remain, the gametophyte having the gametophyte bear male and the gametophyte bear male and female sex organ. The gametophyte bear male and female sex organs. But what is the male organ, female organ? You can see the gametophyte bear. The gametophyte bears male and female sex organ. Here male organ antheridium. Male organ is antheridium. Female organ is archegonium. Archegonium. Antheridium produce antherozoids. Archegonium produce single egg female, single egg. So there should be a fusion of male and female gametes. Fertilization is carried out. One type of fertilization is called pseudogamous. Pseudogamous oogamy. Antheridium male sex organ. Archegonium female sex organ. Antheridium produce male gametes, antherozoids. Archegonium produce egg, single egg. So these antheridium produce antherozoids. Antherozoids what? Antherozoids are male gametes. Antherozoids. These archegonium produce only single egg. So these antherozoids having flagella. With the help of flagella they can move. So these antherozoids move and fuse with egg cell. There should be a fertilization is carried out. That type of the fertilization is called pseudogamous oogamy. Pseudogamous means the gametes is able to move. Pseudogamous oogamy means the male gametes motile which are able to move. The motile male gametes fuse with non-motile female gametes. Here, what are the male gametes? Antherozoids. Antherozoids having flagella. With the help of flagella, they can move. They can move and reach the female gametes, then fertilization is going on. And these male gametes, antherozoids, only able to move, but whereas egg, female gametes, they are unable to move. So here two gametes are there. So because of the fertilization of this process is called zooidogamous oogami. Zooidogamous oogami. Okay. Fertilization is carried out. After the fertilization, zygote is developed. After the fertilization, zygote is developed. Fertilization process after the zygote is developed. The zygote is converted into embryo. Zygote is converted into embryo. So the formation of embryo, this is important evolution in the plants. This is the important step. Zygote is converted into embryo. Embryo is the precursor of seed. After the embryo, seed will germinate, seed will develop. So this is the important step. This is the important evolution in the plant kingdom. Formation of embryos. The embryo is the precursor for the seed. Precursor means from the embryo only seeds will develop. So the embryo is the precursor of the seed. Embryo after seed will develop. So this is one of the important evolution in the history of the plant kingdom. Okay. But here zygote converted into embryo. Here embryo is converted into sporophyte. Sporophyte. So one more thing here you can remind. Sporophyte is the male dominant stage of the life cycle of the pteridophytes. The life cycle of the dominant phase of the life cycle of the pteridophytes starts from sporophyte only. Sporophyte is the dominant stage of the life cycle of the pteridophytes. Okay. Diploid life cycle. Sporophyte is diploid condition. Diploid. Sporophyte is a diploid condition. So the diploid sporophyte is the main dominant stage of the life cycle of the pteridophytes. This life cycle is called diploidic life cycle. Diploidic. Okay. So this is about the characteristic features of pteridophytes. If you see in some groups, especially if you see in some cases, like especially some fern, some of the fern like Dryopteris, some of the fern like Dryopteris is one type of fern. Some fern like Dryopteris, the stem should be rhizome. The stem should be rhizome. The stem should be rhizome means underground stem. Rhizome. The stem should be rhizome, and the leaves are pinnately compound. Pinnately compound. Leaves are pinnately compound. Leaves are appear like a wing-like structures. Pinnately compound. Leaves are pinnately compound. These leaves are called fronds. Fronds. This type of the leaves are called fronds. Fronds. Leaves are called fronds. And these leaves show circinate vernation. These leaves show important character. This is called circinate vernation. These leaves show circinate vernation. But what is circinate vernation? The young leaves coiling from tip to base. Young leaves medical తిరుగుతాయి. Young leaves కొన నుంచి base వరకు ఇట్లా medical తిరుగుతాయి. That is called circinate vernation అంటారు. The leaves show circinate vernation. Coiling of the leaves from top to base. Coiling of the leaves from top to base. కొన నుంచి కిందికి medical తిరుగుతాయి. That is called circinate vernation. Okay. And petioles are covered with brown hairs that are called ramenta. Petioles are covered with a brown color multicellular hairs. Petioles are covered with hairs that are called ramenta. Petiole means, what is petiole? The stalk of the leaf. Leaf kunde karan emantaru petiole antaru. Petiole. Okay. Petioles are covered with brown multicellular hairs that are called ramenta. And one more thing here you can see, especially the sporangia which is formed on the sporophyll, leaves that are called sporophyll. Here the sporangia which is in some cases the sporangia which is formed on the sporophyll in groups. The sporangia having some groups. The groups are called sori. The sporangia which is formed on the surface of the leaf, but that into groups. Sporangia having some groups. The groups are called sori. Each sori means plural, sorus means singular. Each sorus is covered with a membrane that is called indusium. Okay, indusium. The sorus covered with a particular layer. The layer is called true indusium. Okay, these are the characteristic features of the pteridophytes. You can see this is the diagram of the Selaginella. This is the equisetum. Okay, you can see leaves are there, stem also there, roots are also there, adventitious roots. If you see in equisetum, cone here we can see cone is there. Cone is also called strobilus. Node is there. Node means where the leaves are arranged. The place is called node. The gap between one node to another node, that is called internode. Here node, this is also node, this is also node. This is internode, this is internode. This is also internode. Okay. So this is the stem is rhizome. Undernode stem is rhizome. They are having particular roots. So this is the equisetum. So here you can see classification. Just 4 classes are there. Pteridophyta is classified into 4 classes. One is Coelopsida. Second one Lycopsida. Third one Sphenopsida. Fourth one Pteropsida. Please arrange here. First Coelopsida. Coelopsida example Coelotum. Here also P silent letter. Coelopsida. P silent letter. Coelotum. Lycopsida. Okay. Lycopsida example Lycopodium and Selaginella. Okay. Lycopsida example Lycopodium and Selaginella. Next Sphenopsida, best example Equisetum. Sphenopsida, best example Equisetum. Next Pteropsida, best example Dryopteris and Teris and Ediantum. These 3 are called fern. These 3 commonly called ferns. Okay, Pteropsida includes fern. What are called ferns? Dryopteris, Teris, Ediantum. These 3 commonly called fern. Okay, this is the classification. Okay, so so far we discussed about the pteridophytes. This is the characteristic features, examples with the diagrams and classification of the pteridophytes. Tomorrow class we have discussed about the gymnosperms. Okay, thank you children.